Hey everyone, Sally here, 37 years old, with a story from a couple years back that still lingers in my mind. So I figured I'd share it for anyone willing to listen. It all starts with my dad. See, after losing Mom to cancer, he poured his heart into a new business. Wasn't old enough to really remember her, and my brother Kyle was just a tiny tot. Dad threw himself into work, grieving in his own way, yet never missing a beat when it came to raising us. Startup life wasn't easy, but the business slowly gained traction, enough to keep the roof over our heads and food on the table. Sometimes, I'd wake up for a midnight potty break only to find Dad's office lights still blazing, him burning the midnight oil. Back then, my dream was to follow in his footsteps. At 18, I nervously asked if I could work with him. He shut me down fast. Turns out, working with family hadn't gone well for him in the past, and he wasn't keen on a repeat performance. Confused but respectful, I took a different job. Paid the bills, but wasn't exactly setting the world on fire. Then, one fateful day, curiosity led me to peek at Dad's accounts. What I saw sent a jolt through me. The business was hemorrhaging money, fast approaching a point of no return. A couple more months, and it would all be over. Shocked, I watched the countdown clock tick. This wasn't just his dream, it was our family's lifeline. Changes were needed and fast. But could I help the man who wouldn't let me in? That's where things get interesting. Confession time. I confronted Dad, the numbers staring accusingly from the screen. Business is bleeding money, Dad. What's happening? His jaw clenched. Nosy, aren't we? Look, I'm sorry, okay? But honestly, it's done for. No, it's not, I insisted, urgency lacing my voice. Nothing I try helps. Cut every corner, but it's a sinking ship. I even considered giving up. Defeat hung heavy in his voice. But I wasn't ready to let go. Don't close it. Please let me help. Trust me, you won't regret it. He was skeptical. Mixing family and business. You know my stance. I do. But listen, I studied business. I know what I'm doing. Give me 2 months. The business thrives, or I spend the rest of my life making it up to you, I swear. A reluctant sigh. Expensive leap of faith, kid. Just like yours starting the business, I countered. One more small gamble. If it fails, I'll shoulder the burden. Forever. Silence stretched taut. Then, fine. Desperation, and maybe a sliver of curiosity. Let's see what you got. A flicker of hope in his eyes, and I didn't disappoint. Days turned into weeks, my eyes glued to the screen. Numbers crunched, contacts called, the business clawed its way back. Not just afloat, but growing. New clients, Dad's surprise etched on his face. Maybe even pride. He never said it, but I felt it. I poured my heart into it, pushing for more. Not just survival, but a future where Dad could finally relax. He chipped in initially, but gradually, the reins were mine, and I didn't mind. Dad's trust, a silent affirmation that warmed my heart. Ready to retire, pass the torch. I'd ask years later. Plenty of work left in these old bones. He'd chuckle, the glint in his eyes not quite matching his words. I held my tongue, the truth unspoken. He wasn't working, not really, but that was okay. The fire in my own eyes, that was enough 8 years in. My brother Kyle announced he wanted to join the company. Fantastic. Less thrilled was I about him becoming co-CEO. But hey, Dad called the shots, and I bit my tongue. Kyle's work ethic, shall we say, left much to be desired. But as long as he wasn't actively sinking the ship, I kept quiet. The business boomed, profits skyrocketed, and millions rolled in like a tidal wave. With Dad nearing retirement, I patiently awaited the crown. Ownership of the company I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into. It was Kyle's birthday, a celebratory dinner at Carl's place. Exhaustion gnawed at my bones, but the excitement of Dad's potential announcement kept me going. After cake, Dad cleared his throat. "Happy birthday, son," Carl said, raising his glass. "And thanks for making it, Dad." big surprise for Kyle. Dad's eyes twinkled. Surprise? Spill it, Kyle urged. Well, Dad began, after much deliberation, I've decided it's time you take the reins of the business. My jaw dropped. Kyle beamed. What? Oh my gosh, Dad, that's incredible. Thank you, seriously. I blurted out, disbelief coating my tongue. I've been busting my hump for 10 years, while Kyle waltzes in for 2, and you hand him the keys. My voice trembled with indignation. Kyle put in his time, 2 years strong, and look at where we are, Dad defended, his voice tight. Are you kidding? Kyle barely warmed a chair. I was the one grinding, building this empire while he signed papers and played pretend boss. I fumed. Thanks, Dad. Kyle chimed in, a smug smirk twisting his lips. No need for the dramatics, sis. Relax, you can be my right-hand woman. Ray's coming your way too. My laugh was cold, laced with bitterness. Right hand nothing. Keep your pity business. You two took me for granted, disrespected everything I poured into this place. All those sleepless nights, gallons of eye drops, working through sickness, barely a vacation in a decade. My life boiled into this company, and you tossed it away to a leech who showed up for the money, not the work. My voice cracked with hurt and anger. I saved this company, Dad. When it was sinking, I was there, not some lazy prince charming waltzing in at the last minute. Kyle sat in his office, glued to his phone, while I steered the ship. Making him CEO was bad enough, but handing him the whole thing, unforgivable. Tears streamed down my face as I reached home. The truth, ugly and undeniable, had slammed into me. Kyle, ever the golden child, always had Dad wrapped around his finger. Growing up, a mere mention from Kyle got him anything, while I pleaded, saved, and sacrificed. I'd hoped my dedication, sweat, and sleepless nights would prove my worth, earn Dad's true appreciation. But in the end, Kyle still basked in the sun of favoritism, and the sting was unbearable. Days turned into weeks as I drowned in pain. Dad and Kyle's attempts to reach out were met with stummy silence. I knew their predictable script, overreacting, being a baby. But any sane person would ache after such betrayal. Slowly, I emerged from the darkness. Shopping sprees, spa days, healthy meals. I pampered myself, rediscovering the joys life offered beyond work. Yet, the anger lingered. 10 years poured into a company, discarded for nepotism. It wouldn't fade easily. So, I decided to fight back. But alone, I wouldn't have the bite I needed. My eyes darted to Uncle Hank, Dad's estranged brother with his own successful business. Their feud was 14 years old, shrouded in mystery. A long shot, maybe, but desperate times called for desperate measure. Uncle Hank, fueled by 14 years of simmering resentment, eagerly joined my crusade. His eyes glinted with a mix of anger and amusement. Your dad did the same thing to me, you know, he admitted, a bitter chuckle escaping his lips. My jaw dropped. I remembered them as 2 peas in a pod, inseparable until a sudden rift divided them. But why? I stammered, unable to reconcile the jovial uncle I knew with his accusations. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Business partners we were, back in the day. He rode my coattails, then when the company took off, pulled the rug from under me, blamed me for some shady dealings, kicked me to the curb. My heart ached for him. The betrayal mirrored my own, fueling my fury. That's unforgivable, I whispered. He deserves his comeuppance, Uncle Hank declared, a steely glint in his eyes. Together, we'll make him pay. He won't cheat his way out of this one. A pang of guilt tugged at me. Uncle Hank's business, while successful, didn't rival Dad's empire. Could I justify using personal pain to fuel my vengeance? Yet, his story echoed the betrayal I'd suffered. With a deep breath, I pushed the doubt aside. Let's do it, I vowed, a grim determination settling in my voice. Revenge, sweet revenge. My sights were set on Dad's empire, and I knew it was vulnerable. He checked out, leaving Kyle, the human participation trophy, in charge. Time to exploit their weaknesses. Uncle Hank, fueled by years of simmering resentment, was my co-conspirator. Start a rival business, he mused, a shark sensing blood in the water. Right next door, I smirked, savoring the imagined sting. Let's see how Dad fares when his clients walk across the street. It was a gamble fueled by rage and fueled by risk. A plot 5 times bigger than Dad's. Overkill maybe, but oh, the sweet satisfaction of his stunned disbelief. 2 months of legal hurdles, employee interviews, with a secret plan to poach Dad's later, and meticulous planning filled our days. My past as Dad's golden goose provided an edge. Contact lists, loyal clients, whisperings of referrals. Our launch was poised for success, fueled by my burning desire to see Dad's world crumble. My phone lay silent, taunting me with the absence of their panicked pleas. They have to be feeling the pinch. My sabotage was taking effect. And then 7 months in, the call came. Dad's voice, strained and hesitant, requesting a dinner. Dinner? More like a desperate attempt to win me back before they went under. Armed with legal documents proving my equal ownership of both land and business, I marched into their lair, ready to deliver the final blow. The scene was awkward, my brother fidgeting like a scolded child. Their forced smiles reeked of desperation. I severed the power dynamic, every inch of me prepared to expose their folly. Dinner finished, Dad cleared his throat, the preamble to their inevitable graveling. "We have a problem, honey," he began, his voice tight. "Seems you finally found a competitor that bites back," I interjected, a playful smirk masking my simmering anger. Carl's face drained of color. "We're sinking, Sal. We need." "Oh," I feigned concern, relishing their discomfort. "Your help," Carl stammered, the arrogance stripped bare. I scoffed. "After discarding me like yesterday's trash, not a chance." Carl blustered, "Don't be dramatic. Dad chose me because..." Dad's hand shot up, silencing him. "Kyle did his best, but we need..." "Experience," he finished, his gaze pleading. My heart hardened. "And disrespect comes with it, right? As your daughter, I'm obligated to bail you out. No more Dad. Your game's end now. Work for you? Please," I chuckled, the irony dripping from my voice. "My company's eating yours alive, and technically it is mine." I proudly brandished the documents. Co-owners with Uncle Hank. Remember him? Far more talented than your nepotistic pick, and someone who actually appreciates my worth. Dad sputtered, disbelief etched on his face. "How could you do this? To your own family?" My smile turned icy. "Just like you did to Uncle Hank, then to me. And this?" I gestured expansively at the thriving business around us. "This is my obliteration. Your legacy reduced to dust." His shouts of protest faded as I walked out, a triumphant grin stretched across my face. Revenge, served sweet with Uncle Hank, had finally been delivered. But it wasn't just about land and businesses. It was about loyalty, respect, and proving what they'd so casually discarded. And the plan unfolded beautifully. With whispered rumors planted among Dad's employees, a domino effect started. Panic set in, fueled by speculation of collapsing stability and impending layoffs. My doors, meanwhile, swung open for their fleeing workforce, each hire a silent blow against Dad's crumbling empire. Their desperate calls to Uncle Hank, met only with scornful laughter, echoed their deserved downfall. Within a year, they were drowning in debt, their business a pale shadow of its former glory. We, on the other hand, soared. 20 times their client base, a booming success story built on hard work and the ashes of betrayal. The final purchase, Dad's defeated glare as he signed the papers, was the sweetest victory of all. The anger that had fueled us for years finally dissipated, replaced by a sense of peace and prosperity. In Uncle Hank, I found not just a partner, but a true father figure, one who valued and cherished me. This is my story, a testament to the consequences of family betrayal and the power of resilience. Remember, karma has a wicked sense of humor, and underestimating those you've wronged can be a costly mistake. I hope you guys enjoy our story. To watch more interesting stories, hit that subscribe button. Thank you.